Okay, so let's just clear the screen and let's maybe now talk about some firewall stuff. So you can use either IP tables or you can use uncomplicated firewall UFW. In which case you can install also a GUI version of uncomplicated firewall, so UFW. So you can do something like apt install -y. Actually, maybe we're gonna do apt -y install GUFW. So it's gonna be a firewall with the GUI attached to it. Pretty straightforward. Let's just open it. GU. Password. And there you go. Looks like this. Profile, home. You can set it to whichever you want status. You can reject, deny, allow all the incoming things and outgoing as well. Allow, deny, reject. Rules, you can put in your rules here. As you can see, policies, allow, deny, reject, limit, direction, in, everything that's going in, out, everything that is going out, and both ways. Subcategories, categories, simple, advanced, specifying IP, specifying ports. No, basically it's really straightforward firewall. Reports, logs. What do we have here? Copy to clipboard, remove the log. Okay, so this is how it looks. Like I said, you can also use IP tables if you would like to know more about IP tables, how to set them up properly and stuff like that. You can check out my video on my channel about IP tables, because I was also doing a tutorial for Debian server and I made an optional video regarding IP tables, so you can find all the information you would like in there. I'm not gonna go to much detail about it. Another thing, well, you can also install, of course, some antivirus. There's a big debate about if you even need antivirus on Linux distributions. Some people say that you don't, some people say that you do. So, well, I don't know, I don't have all the answers. I can show you what you can use, and most of the time people install CLAMTK, that's the antivirus that they are using. You can install, if you're using this on your own or in like home environment, you can install something called CLAMTK. That's like antivirus with GUI. The same thing is here. I showed you in a moment with the firewall. So let's just install CLAMTK. Because it's basically also quite straightforward to use. If you want more advanced, a little bit more advanced stuff, because CLAMTK is not advanced at all. Even in the terminal, it's like basic stuff, to be honest. If you read about it a little bit more, then it's nothing special. Well, it seems like I have some problems with resolving my DNS name. Maybe my internet dropped. Gotta check. Yep. Well, something's going. Okay. I guess it was missing some upgrades. Let us just upgrade all the necessary things, some libraries. Yeah, so going back to CLAM, what I wanted to say about it. It's a basic antivirus. The problem with CLAM is that it has quite a lot of false positives, so you gotta be careful if you're using the terminal version and you're typing in all the commands from the terminal. Just remember not to use the -- remove, because if you use in the terminal where you're using clam -- remove while you're doing a scan, because usually the thing is that you shouldn't even do scans quite often, because those scans take quite a lot of time. That's one thing. Second thing, if you do the scan wrong, like I said, if you use some kind of switch like this remove switch, CLAM can just poke holes in your Linux distribution. So it will turn up after the scan that it actually removed files or drivers even that weren't even infected, but of course according to this antivirus they were. So it's up to you, to be honest, if you would like to use it. Some people use it, they don't have any problems because they are cautious. So okay, let's try this CLAMTK. Is it gonna go finally? I guess internet connection is pretty low. Oh, fortunately it's not a big package. Okay, so let's go to activities, clam. Okay, once again, things. Okay, there you go, CLAMTK. And this is how the antivirus looks like. Like I said, basic stuff, settings, configuration settings, tick all of them on. Remember about that. Go back, whitelist. Well, you can just add something to the whitelist. network, manual environment settings. You can even, what's here, press apply to saving settings. Okay, fine. Scheduler, well, you can schedule some scans if you want to, like you can check out here. Set the scan time using 24-hour clock. Antivirus signatures when your claim AV is gonna be updated. I wouldn't set this, but I would probably set this one for updating signatures, because I think outdated antiviruses are pretty useless. History, nothing here for now. Of course, quarantine, update, signatures installed, update assistant. I would like to update package signatures myself. I wouldn't recommend this. Scan a file, of course, scan a directory, analysis. So basically just typical stuff. Just remember, if you're using ClamAV, the terminal version as well, if you're doing a scan and you will do something like a dot and then a root, let's say you're gonna put this at the end of your scan, so you will just you want to scan all the root directory with all the subfolders and stuff. So you're gonna scan with the like minus E. I don't remember all the commands right now, but I think it was minus E and I think something else. Because one was for like subdirectories and the other switch was for like checking the viruses. Just remember, if you do this at the end, it's gonna go through all of your subdirectories and it's gonna take shit load of time. So bear that in mind, because if you put that on your system, it might take a few hours. Okay, so this is for antivirus and firewall. Just a small thing to, of course, have on your radar while you're having a Debian distribution running. Right, so maybe we can now jump to etc apt. Let's check out sources.list. Okay, as you can see, I have like two things here regarding CD-ROM that are useless. Basically, you can just, if you have them, you can just scratch them out because they are basically unnecessarily here. They won't be needed at all. Okay, it's just a small thing. We can check for a moment updates. Update software. Let's check. Okay, it's clean. Nothing's here good. Right. Another thing what I wanted to show is, let's go for the browsing for a moment. We're gonna check up extensions, because there's a website called extensions.gnome.org which you can use to customize Just remember, before you do anything here, you need to click here. Yeah, add. Yep, okay. Should be fine right now. Let's just look for example dash to panel. That's pretty handy, to be honest. Let's turn it on, install, yes. Oh, there you go. Now we have our panel set up a little bit differently. So you can customize many things here, those extensions. Taskbar. Well, there's, like I said, quite dash to dock. What's here? Right, okay. So quite a lot of stuff. You need to pick your own, which you would like to add, and just play with it and have fun. And customize your Debian as you would like to. Right, so another thing covered. Let us also, alright, I also read a little bit about microcode, because I was talking about it previously, that I'm not gonna show you the installation of microcode because I don't know that much about it and stuff. So okay, this is what I dug up from the internet. Intel CPU microcode issues. The Intel microcode package, currently in Bullseye and Buster security, is known to contain two significant bugs. From some coffee-like CPUs, this update may break network interfaces that use firmware. And for some Skylake CPUs on system using a very outdated firmware BIOS, the system may hang on boot. So as you can see, installing microcode has its ups and downs, let's call it as that, because I think it also might be flawed a little bit, like they say here, that it has some bugs. So maybe if you have a specific processor, you might have some problems after installing microcode. That's why I'm not recommending it really, to be honest, that much. If you don't have a more like extended grasp of it. And another thing I found is about fail to ban. If you would like to install fail to ban here on your Debian distribution, on the graphical one, so fail to ban can't send email using mail from BSD mail X. The fail to ban package can be configured to send out email notification. It does that using mail, which is provided by multiple packages in Debian. A security update needed on systems that use mail for mail utils just before the release of Bullseye broke this functionality for systems that have mail provided by BSD Mail X. Users of fail to ban in combination with BSD Mail X who wish fail to ban to send out emails should either switch to different provider for mail or manually unapply the upstream commit. So as you can see, fail to ban has also had some ups and downs with email notifications. If you were up for that kind of stuff and you needed it, just keep in mind. Alright, so that's just like small stuff regarding our distribution. Actually, next what I wanted to talk about after all the antivirus. Yeah, maybe I will just briefly show you something like when you actually have ClamAV. Let's just go back to ClamAV for a moment, just for a moment. I'm gonna show you a quick command. Clam scan -r -i bell downloads. So here we're trying to scan with ClamAV our downloads folder. The bell is a notification when a virus comes up. It's gonna be like you're gonna be notified. The R, so this is for scanning subdirectories, and this is for scanning infected files or showing infected files actually. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. If you wanted to use ClamAV normally, just remember, if you would change this to root, it's gonna scan all the system. It's gonna take quite a lot of time. Alright, let's take this out. Well, let's go to another thing. So installing backup. That's really important. I think everybody should have backup. Otherwise you might be in troubles if you're tinkering with different things. And the backup to go to is of course TimeShift. Many people are saying that TimeShift is really good. And from what I saw personally, I think, yeah, that's the thing to go for if you would like to have your system backed up. So because backup programs are often overlooked if it goes to Debian, and Debian 11 doesn't have any backups by default. So if you don't install anything, you don't have nothing. Okay, so maybe first of all, let's go to the World Wide Web. And we're gonna try to pull an installation from GitHub. TimeShift releases. So there you go. That's the newest installment of TimeShift. As you can see, it's for IMD64 for Debian. It's from May. So let's take this package. Right. Okay, so let's go to the folder. Software install. Select. And there we go. We have TimeShift. System restore utility for Linux distributions. What do we have here? License. Okay, date. Fine. So let's go install. I gotta wait for a moment for it to install. If you use the GitHub that I showed you the link, you won't have any problems with downloading and installing like I'm downloading it right now, so just go with it. So after it installs, we'll have to configure it. And the first thing that we are gonna have when we are configuring timeshift, it's rsync and Btrfs. So rsync, what's the difference between Btrfs and rsync? Well, the basic thing is that rsync can create snapshots on external disks, and Btrfs has a real-time restore with no delay, no copy process. It's basically very fast, but the thing is rsync can store backup on external disks. So, well, really the main difference is that rsync can, like I said, create snapshots on external disks. Not the same for Btrfs. Okay, we got it covered. Just delete this, close the website, let us open timeshift. Yep, root password, and there we go. Like I said, rsync or Btrfs. It's up to you which one you choose. I usually choose the first one, as I think majority chooses the first one. Estimating system size. Right, so as you can see, I only have one drive here because it's everything virtual, it's on a virtual box. I could actually now, probably I would need to save everything, go out from the virtual box, go here to storages and here to the controllers and just add another disk. So I would have another disk and I could just pick another disk here. That would be my second disk that would be gathering all the backups, let's say, of my main distribution. So basically what I'm trying to say is everything you will have attached to your Debian is going to be listed here. If you have any external disk, or if you have even an internal disk that is just like cut it in part, you cut it in parts, and you have like this part of the disk is this, the other is something else, and another you have another disk attached that is like for backups and other stuff. Then you can pick this one and just go with the restore. Next stuff, snapshot levels. So you can choose how often the snapshots are going to be taken. You can do them weekly, daily, monthly, hourly, whatever, and boot time. Usually I choose monthly, 2, and daily keep on 2, and that's all. And of course ticking this stop cron. Okay, next. Okay, so here we have user home directories are excluded by default unless you enable them here. Yeah, so many people would just tick everything, include all the files, tick tick, gone. Why you shouldn't actually do it? Because exclude your home. So I made a small note about it. Users, exclude your home directory. When you include the home directory and you restore a snapshot, it will restore that home directory exactly as it was. So any files you changed in your home directory since the time of the snapshot won't be restored. So that's the difference. if you actually click this and take include all option. That's why I think it's better to exclude them, because to be honest, if you're working with different documents, which I am, I don't want to lose them, and I would lose them if everything would be overwritten. That's why I'm leaving it on default. Of course, you can do as you please. Okay, now setup is completed. Of course, finish. And there you go. You have the basic setup done. This is how the main window looks like. Settings. Well, this is the settings that we were here. Browse. Maybe not right now. Oh, thanks. Okay. Create. Well, if I click now create, of course it's going to create a snapshot. Here you have the time remaining of the creation of this snapshot. We'll see how much time it shows, and I don't know if I'm just gonna wait until it finishes, because basically here on the system I don't have that much stuff, so it shouldn't be really overwhelmed. But as you can see already, I have 10 minutes on the clock. So yeah, well, I'm not gonna just do it right now. Pointless. Well, if it goes to restore option, of course, if you have your snapshots here that were configured previously here with the settings accordingly, you will need to just pick one snapshot and press restore, and you're good to go. So I don't think this is a pretty handy tool, which is easy to use and looks quite okay. The GUI is pretty, I think, intuitive. It's not like hidden. Okay, so that's TimeShift. The last thing I wanted to talk about, if it goes to things that you can use but not exactly you have to use it, is Swappiness. So Swappiness controls the tendency the kernel wishes to swap. Even with free memory, the kernel may swap. So if you have swappiness on 100, 100 means aggressively, swap 0 means wait until the last minute to swap. Where is this swappiness actually that you can configure? So let's go nano. Proc VM swappiness. As you can see, my swappiness is now at 60 default. I think everybody that have a fresh install have the swappiness on set on 60, unless you of course mangled and tangled with it. It always stays on this. And the thing is, if you actually change it to like 10 or even to 0, it might help you out with let's say speeding up a little bit your overall experience with Debian. But just bear in mind that putting this on 0 doesn't mean that your system won't use the swap option, because if it needs to, it will. So it's not like you can just okay, just let's do it like scratch this to 0 and basically swappiness is disabled. No, it's not disabled. When the system needs, it's gonna use it anyway. So of course 0 is gonna be like I said before, it's gonna set it to like aggressive mode. that basically your system is gonna do everything just to avoid using swap. Yeah, so basically that's it. Let's just close it. And we can also open Nano. Let's see. Okay. And here in sysctl.conf at the end, if you want to change your swappiness, you can also add something like vm.swappiness equals and the amount you want, 0, 10, whichever, right? I'm not gonna put it here. So basically that's it. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. It was a little bit long, but I think I tried to cover all the stuff that is actually used in Debian. I think I didn't actually say about stuff that is not used, because I think Nala is used very often. It's really great instead of apt timeshift. I think majority people use it. CLAMAV and UFW IP tables. Depends. IP tables, I think, yeah. I don't know about UFW and CLAM. That's debatable. Of course, all the tips about speeding up your Linux distribution with like mitigation, of course, and ZSwap, and here with the swappiness and shortening boot time, all the stuff I think is also quite helpful. So well, thanks for listening. Hope you liked it. Hope you're gonna take something out of it. Have fun with it, and see you soon.